Now, I also wanted to ask you about your views on sanctions as a tool of statecraft. You've said in the past that sanctions did affect your calculations, your decision-making towards the end. They did hurt. Now, sanctions are a key policy tool with regards to Iran and persuading Iran to curtail its nuclear ambitions. In general, what are your thoughts about sanctions as a tool of statecraft, and what were the sanctions that you found most painful for South Africa?
My basic approach is that sanctions has a limited place in international, whether you want to call it diplomacy or pressure or whatever. In the case of South Africa, it played a role. Let me first acknowledge that it kept us on our toes. Financial sanctions has hurt us quite severely. It halted economic growth, but it did hurt the black population much more than it hurt the white population. It didn't help those whom it was intended to help. It actually harmed them much more than it harmed the intended victims of the sanctions. Secondly, sanctions at times delayed reform. In our case, the biggest change agent, which in many respects made nonsense of apartheid, was economic growth and development. Economic growth and development created an impetus in black education. Because of economic growth and development, so many black universities were created. By the 1990s, there were more black students at university in South Africa than white students. But economic sanctions also twisted our economy. It made us build 6.5 atomic bombs. It made us erect at great cost artificial rubber manufacturing plants. All that money, the billions and billions which went into our nuclear armament program, into our uranium enrichment program, into our rubber program, into buying oil at a premium, all that could have been used for further development. The third negative aspect of sanctions, it forces nations to become inward-looking. Suddenly, if the world draws back from them, they take hands and they form, as we say in rugby, a scrum. And they say, who the hell is the United States to tell us what to do? They don't understand our problems. And unless sanctions can throttle a country, countries will find ways and means to circumvent those sanctions. I believe if sanctions don't succeed in the purpose for which it is established, within 2 or 3 years, there should be a rethink, and it should be admitted that sanctions have failed to bring about the change for which it was intended.